Going on, everybody? Oh my gosh, that was such an entertaining conversation, right? That was a good one. Just had Chat About Toronto with Mel and Tasha on the show, and they were just, oh my gosh, I love their energy. I love their connectivity between each other. It was phenomenal. It was so good. Such a good show. And so we're excited. We're excited to have you guys right here talking about all this good stuff. Toronto has so much good things right here in our city. So many great people who are doing great things. And of course, What's the 411 here loves to just talk about it. We like to talk about it, bring their expertise to the table, and just get right into it. So, of course, we have our special guest in the building for part two of What's the 411. And I am going to invite Ryan Lyons Books. Just get right into it. I'm gonna get right into it, guys. So, of course, thank you. Hey,
Hi.
how's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. So introduce yourself. Let everybody know who you are and what you do.
My name is Andre Wright. I am one of the co-authors of Ryan Lion Hide and Seek. So here's the book right here. There it is.
Yay. Okay, so
Yeah.
who's the other author?
The other author is my adorable 8-year-old son, Anthony Marcel. He's not here with me today, unfortunately, but he does send his regards.
Okay, all right. So how did you get started?
Well, it was kind of a story just based on the fact of being a single father, always reading to my son every night, but never having a story that kind of related to us, you know. So I wanted to create something that we had together, as well as a tool for us to bond. Uh,
Oh,
s-
really nice.
yeah, so it's like, as fathers, single fathers, black fathers, and not a lot of representation out there. Sorry. So it was just something where, I've never written a book. It's kind of like God's plan. Just said, okay, do this, and to be able to do it with my son has been amazing. It's been fun. It's been something that he can look at and like he will tell you himself, "I am Ryan Lyon." So it's been really fun.
Wow. So where did you come up with Ryan Lyon? Like, where did the name come up?
It's crazy because okay, so Lions represent the king, the kings of the jungles and stuff like that. And when we're talking about black representation, you should be able to see your favorite story within that. You should be able to see yourself within that story. The character himself, Ryan, his image is actually a depiction of how my son used to look when he was growing up. He had this big fro growing up, and so I figured, lion, Ryan, what lies are Ryan, lion. It's
Mm.
Ryan, so I just went with it.
Wow, that's pretty cool. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool. And then, so you just mentioned, Black fatherhood, the representation out there. How important is this father-son duo? You guys writing this book, putting it out there, and then putting that representation out there as well.
I think it's important and integral for this day and age. I am proud and honored to be a part of the modern day fathers that I know today, black fathers especially.
Mhm.
I see my boy Sean Hilton's out here. Shout out to Sean Hilton. Um, and just like again, he's another black father with two girls. That we are prominent and active in our children's lives, and we've had a bad run, some bad PR in the past. The sins of the fathers have fallen upon the sons. Fathers not being around, whether they're incarcerated or whatever the case may be, that resulted in a lot of issues with men like myself that have grown up not having that father figure, that example to be set. Um, so right now it's important for myself, much of what the story is based on or derived the purpose and meaning of the story, the morale, I guess you would say, is based on just really saying, I'm going to be there for you. I'll always be there for you. No matter what, no matter where, for you, I'll always be there. Is actually a quote from the book, just to kind of establish that for your child, because sometimes the world gets crazy, you get lost, especially in today's day and age where things are you're unsure. You can learn so much. It's an information highway, right? So there's so many things being thrown at you, at once, and you don't know, and we're all trying to figure out who we are. So as parents, mother and father, it's always important to help to guide them, what they might be looking for within themselves. And for a guy, from a father teaching his son, I'm his example of what a man should be. For a father with a daughter, the first love, you know what I mean? First hero and first love. So though it's very important. It's very integral.
Wow. And so, is Ryan Lyons the only thing you have going on? I think I've seen you on some other platforms as well.
Yes. So again, I'm an advocate for fathers, Black fathers, single fathers, traditional fathers, you name it. So I do have another page called Dad's What We Do, and again, it kind of enlightens and exhibits fathers really doing what they do best and being dads, right? So you can go on that page. It's Dad's What We Do, little play on words. And yeah, again, it kind of ties in all together to kind of really show that we're here, we're active. I know a lot of amazing fathers out there that are doing their best under circumstances that, aren't always accommodating, and in this, how society sees us and views us is in detriment to what we actually do, right? And we're not always allowed certain privileges, or we're not allowed certain things, but we're still trying our best to do more than what the status quo is. So I'm very honored and proud to be a part of that.
Wow. Yes, and I see Sweetness here, and she's saying you're a great role model.
Thank you.
So,
Thank
yeah.
you. I'm just like the rest of them. Shout out to all the fathers out there that might be watching, doing what they do. We appreciate you as well.
Yeah, because, I guess it's like maybe 50-50, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of times we do hear a lot about fathers who are not doing maybe what they should be doing for their kids. And then you hear about great fathers such as yourself who are doing so much for their kids, and being there and being that the example. And, for what they didn't have, especially being that example is super important. So.
But I'm gonna to kind of what you said. You said it's 50. Like, you do have the good and the bad. I think in any situation you do have the good and the bad. What I've come to learn, again, it's perspective, where someone can say that father isn't there, but really and truly they're trying to be there. There are circumstances which I'm well aware of where they're not allowed due to certain barriers and stuff like that do happen, right? So to say 50-50, I wouldn't give it that statistic. It's just kind of.
I said 50-50.
Yeah, no, okay.
Let me not even put a number on it, because I'm not saying 50-50 like that. You know what I mean? Because I really don't know the numbers.
Yeah,
you know
neither do I. Yeah, because we don't really know.
Right.
I've heard the bad stories too. Like, don't get me wrong. I've heard where there's some men which doesn't make any sense. But I've also heard there's some of their sides where, it's like, nah, I'm trying. I'm going through this and it's just crazy.
100%.
So yeah,
100%. I totally agree with you. But I just, like, while we're talking about this, I just, like, a question just popped into my mind about, like, there's obviously a breakdown in our Black family. You know what I mean? Where are we falling short, do you think, in your opinion?
I think a lot of it is, I'm a man of faith, so it's like God, really and truly, like, like when you're really following him and you understand the laws of God, kind of thing, you know what I mean? So not to say, I'm not going to place it where it's like the man leads and the woman follows kind of thing. We can say that, but really and truly, a lot of which is it's communication. If I'm gonna place it in something, it's gonna be communication, just due to the fact where men communicate different from women, women communicate different than men, and there seems to be a miscommunication. You know what I mean? I could say something that can be easy. If I ask a woman, "Hey, babe, what do you want to eat?" You know what I mean? And we all know
it's a trick question. No, I'm just joking.
Right? It's a whole plethora. I was like, I don't know. And a man can suggest a bunch of things, and in a minute, and I could speak from a man's perspective, where it's like, we're easy. We're really easy. It's like, hey, the dishes will get washed. You know what I'm saying? But women will be like, nah, like, these need to get washed right now, kind of thing. But I really feel it's like that communication, that understanding, that compassion, that empathy. Empathy is one of the big things that are lost within that, because the way how you feel should be important to me. You know what I mean? And because I wouldn't want you to do something how am I going to put this? I wouldn't want you to feel a certain way due to my actions, because if you were to do that same action to me, I would feel bad. Like, you know what I mean? Like that tit for tat thing. And that's what a lot of happens. Well, he cheated on me, so I'm going to cheat on her. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like going back and forth, or that breakdown kind of thing. So that honesty, communication, stuff like that, in my opinion, right?
Yeah. For sure. And you are making a huge point there, because like when we really think about it, in the breakdown of almost any relationship, whether it's a friendship or it's a work coworker or it's a personal intimate relationship, there can be a breakdown in communication, and that's usually what leads to the
Exactly.
split,
The
right?
broken telephone and stuff like
Right.
that. What do they say? They say people don't, they communicate not to understand, but to respond.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's a big thing where it's like, oh, you had those points? Okay, I'm gonna wait till you finish. And I got right now, watch what happens. And they're not listening to what the person's saying. They don't care what the other person's saying, right? So they're just whatever, internalizing their own thing. So yeah.
True. So then how do we change that? Like, is it getting to know your partner a little bit more
Yes.
before? Yeah.
There's a lot of, in my opinion, it's a lot of healing. Hurt people, right?
Right.
So we're also so quick, because the media, how we may feel, tell us we need to be with somebody, but you're not ready to be with somebody, right? Because you have two broken pieces and you're trying to make one whole, but you're still broken, right? So you're angry about your past relationships. She's angry about her past relationships, and you may do something that may trigger her, or she may do something that may trigger you, and then you have that disconnect. Combine that with the pressures already within a relationship, right? If you're not financially, for being in a relationship, I was in a relationship for most of my 20s. Actually, most of my 20s. So for a man, it's a financial thing, right? So it's very, and for women, it's that emotional thing. So if you're dealing with a man that's not emotionally connected to actually hear or empathize with your emotions, you have that disconnect, right? And then the man's dealing with his pressures, she's dealing with her pressures, and that's why you end up with cheating, the lies, all these things, or the vices. They get drunk, and they have this toxic relationship where you're getting into arguments, and it's usually the same argument over and over again, because the foundation of that argument is your broken pieces, is the brokenness, and that just continues to develop more and more. So I would say to anybody, start off as a friend. Because when you're in your friend, you'll get to really know somebody. Because in 3 months, like you're dating someone, you're talking to somebody, you're only learning certain things, right? Because everyone has a mask. Oh, I'm gonna buy her flowers. I'm gonna take her out. I'm gonna do all these. Oh, he likes sports. I'm gonna show him that I like sports too. I love video games. By month 4, why are you still on that video game? Why? Oh, why didn't you buy me no flowers? Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, babe, like, you don't dress sexy no more. Like, what's good? It's like, oh, I gotta dress sexy for you. And I know I'm acting like.
Yes, they're out here calling you Kevin Samuels, so
Well, that's my boy shot. Yeah. No, but it's like, I feel like, I've been in many conversations like this, so I'm glad you brought it up, where it's like, it's his fault, it's her fault. We're all playing the blame game. It's like, no, we both both genders messed up. Like we both got issues, right? So it's acknowledging those issues and saying, okay, you know what? Let me take a step back. Because when you're dealing with someone, and I've dealt with this before. I've literally, I remember getting into an argument. We were on our way back from a date, getting into an argument. But when you're you understand the certain things that are going on. Like again, I'm healing. I'm developing my own personal skills, listening. She's yelling at me over something that's trivial and whatever. And in my head, I'm like, and usually I would respond accordingly. I start yelling back at her, But I was like, listen, I'm controlling the situation, because once you get angry, really and truly, you lose, in my opinion. I was just talking to my homegirl a minute ago about this. But she started yelling, carrying on. I said, listen, we can have a conversation, but if you're going to start yelling at me, this conversation's over. Like, we can I have no problem having a conversation, but we're not going to have one where you're yelling and cussing at me, because that doesn't make any sense to me. I'm not yelling and cussing at you, right? And by the end of the night, we were able to resolve the issue. But it's that thing where it's like, there's a piece of her where she's been here before that she hasn't healed from. So now she's in a place where this is how she wants to respond. I've been in the same place, but because I've taken the time to get to know this is not going to resolve anything. It's
Right.
not going to resolve anything, right? You're just yelling over each other, right? So it's a yelling that doesn't make any sense.
Mm. And then you mentioned faith too. How important of a role does having faith play in these relationships?
Faith in God. Your foundation should be built, in my opinion. Like really sound like
Yep.
Kevin Samuels out here. Faith in God. Because as you asked that question, I'm like, okay, let me put on my, you know, I'm gonna be the good Kevin Samuels. But it's like faith. It should be based, in my opinion, again, for my career, relationships, God, and friendship, right? Because once you have God, above all else, He'll help lead. If you really, it's effective, an effective relationship with God, He'll lead you, right? So it's kind of like, okay, you're getting mad. Like she's broken through that she's crossed that line. She's gotten you mad. How do you respond? Do I respond how I've usually responded, angrily? What does that? What does that do, right? Or do I respond where I walk away? Sometimes you get caught in situations. Shout out to all the single fathers that high value men. That's my brother right there. Um, Shout out to all the fathers. Like you're in a situation, again, co-parenting situations where things can get really bad, right?
Mhm.
But again, you have to really talk to God, because if we go through the Bible, you know, David out here be slaying, you know what I mean? David out here
Yeah.
slaying Goliath, you know, King David out here slaying people too. Like it could get really bad. So you really have to say, okay, God, let me walk away from this um, before something bad happens. You know what I mean? Where it's like
Mhm.
you really have to trust God, and where He's like trying to teach you something. One of the things I've learned in the last little while, when we ask God for things, when we pray for God to say, you know, give us money or give us patience. God doesn't give us patience like, here you go, boom. He gives us
Yeah.
an opportunity to be patient, right?
Right.
If we're looking for finances, He gives us opportunities. If you go online right now, there are 100 different ways for you to make money right now, currently. But you have to apply yourself. It's at work, right? So faith without, how's it go? Faith without works is death. So you're just, if you don't have the faith, if you don't put in the work to do it, just like in relationships, if you don't put in the work, it's like, let me discover who this person is. She may not be the same person you started out with. She has ambition, she has goals, right?
Mhm.
So, okay, let me figure that out. How can I help? Like, as her man, let me help her. Let me not be in detriment of what she's trying to do. Because a lot of times as men, we may get jealous of our women because of the success they may achieve, or because they've changed. They no longer want to sit down and play video games, et cetera, et cetera. But again, that communication plays a key part, where it's like, okay, I want to understand you, understand me, you know, that whole thing. So faith plays a big role, where you know that's the person you want to be with for the rest of your life. So you know it's going to be a fight. You know what I mean? The way how the world is right now, you know, toxic,
Mhm.
toxic behavior, toxic relationship. That's what's really in hot girl summer, hot boy summer, city girls. Like, you know what I'm saying? But you have to understand, like, these words. You know, there's life and death in the tongue. So these words have
Yes.
power. So we put a title to something. Hot girl summer. To me, you know what I mean? When I hear a girl say hot girl summer, I'm not taking her serious. I can't take you serious then. It's like, because no, it's true, right? Because like
Yeah.
I grew up in Rexdale. Shout out to Rexdale.
Yeah.
So I understand, like, you know what I mean. So they're giving you signs right away on who they are as a whole.
Yeah.
You just have to take it for what it is. Like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's you. You can't blame them if they're telling you. If you know, you're mad at someone for smoking, and you know them to be a smoker your entire relationship. How are you gonna be mad at that? You know, it doesn't make
Yeah.
any sense. So I hope that answers your question. I could talk for days on this, but I've been watching from the outside, and some of the things I've seen, I was like, whoa. I make this joke all the time, where it's just like, nah, like a relationship right now, like I need to work on myself. I can handle these things that are going on, where, you know, babe, I'm going to bed at 7 o'clock. What? You know what I mean? Like, what do you mean you're going to bed at 7 o'clock? That doesn't make no sense. Are you a farmer? Like, why are you going to bed so early? Because they're out there doing whatever, right? That mess. No, I don't
Yeah.
got it. My anxiety would act up.
Immediately.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not easy out here. But then with that being said, then I guess, do you still believe that in marriage? then for
Once upon a time, it's funny you mentioned this, you asked me these questions. I literally,
I know I'm going off the
no, no,
list
that's,
here.
no, it's okay. No, it's
It's
fine. No,
just
because I was
off my
literally
mind.
having this conversation, I think either today or yesterday about marriage. I'm like, what really good examples do I have of marriage? You know what I mean? Like, even
Yeah.
especially like you have the television marriage where a lot of, black people as a whole, that's where we get it from. But then, you have the Christian marriage where a lot of people, they're Christians, they've been married for XYZ, but they don't really like each other. You know what I mean? Where they're just together because of God, right? So it's like, yeah, we can't get married because God will bless us, whatever. So, do I
Yeah.
believe in marriage? Absolutely. But being married with the right person, being the right person yourself, right? So, um, again, healing. So once you've healed, you understand your value, you understand your worth, and you understand perspective, right? You are able to apply the things that you've healed from in order to have a successful relationship with somebody. Now, being that said, you have to make sure that individual knows themselves and knows their worth as well, because they're going to take you for granted, or they're not going to understand. They're going to be treated like a queen or king or whatever, and they're not going to understand, whoa, what's going on? And what that can happen in a toxic mindset, I would say, is that then they'll end up doing something that they shouldn't do. Like a lot of times what happens with women, I find, is if a guy gives her everything, like the world or whatever, she'll end up, oh, he's soft, like whatever. And they'd be called, I guess in this day and age, they're called simps, right? If they're on their woman, like they're loving on their woman, giving them romantic, oh, I got him weak, I got him. And it's looked as a weakness, right? And that's not okay. And for a man's perspective, it's like, oh, I got this girl, like I got her on lock, she ain't going nowhere. So they may mistreat her. She's not, if she's doing everything already. So it's that mindset, right? It's yeah. Like if we're in this, like if me and her have been in, we've developed that friendship. God, you know what I mean? Now we're in a relationship, and we get married. It's like, this is my best friend. So it's not like
Yeah.
she knows who I am. You know what I mean? I know who she is as an individual. Things will change, challenges will come, but we decided, not even before we stood in front of God, our friends, we decided together. It's like, yeah, you're my person. This is it.
Yeah.
Like I'm not looking any further. Like whatever happens, we'll face it together. You know what I mean? One of my best moments in television, watching television. I don't know if anybody watches This Is Us, right? Um,
Okay.
a great show. So, anyways, the wife and the husband were having an issue. He had a drinking problem, and he wanted to take care of the problem himself. So he was staying at his friend's house. The wife comes to pick him. He's like, "Come, let's go home. You're supposed to be home." Right? He looks at her as a man. He says, "You know what, babe? Like, I love you and everything like that, but I have to take care of this myself, whatever." So he closes the door on her. Right? She pries open the door, and she looks him dead in the face and is like, "Your problems are my problems. You are my husband. Time to come home." That right there,
Yeah.
that's what marriage is about. You're not
Yeah.
facing this by yourself anymore. You're not facing the world by yourself. As a man, you're not undergoing the pressures of society, of the world. You're able to communicate to your girl without feeling pathetic or a simp or whatever the case may be of what you're dealing with. And it gives you strength, and vice versa. She's able to communicate to you how she's feeling, her insecurities and stuff like that. And I think we have to be able to vocalize certain things, because we go through these things that we don't necessarily realize. Some of our bad habits may still pre-exist, even after healing, right? So we need to kind of be like, hey, you know what? You've had too much to drink, let's just say. And it's like you're getting a little volatile or whatever the case may be. And it's like, oh, no, no, no. It's okay. You're still with that person, but at the end of the day, you're letting them know, like, this is what's up. You're not allowed to drink anymore. Guy, girl, whatever,
Yeah.
because you become this person when you do, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. You're expressing that, and you have to be strong enough to be like, listen, if you don't, then I will walk away, because you're listening to what's going on. This is what you're doing is detriment to us as a whole, right? And our family or our marriage or whatever, our relationship, etc. So
Right. And I think deep down inside, the points that you're hitting are all 100%. Deep down inside, people really need that. They need that partner to kind of keep them in line, because we're not perfect, right? You
we're
know what I
not
mean?
perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold each other
So,
accountable, right? So,
yeah.
you know, um, for like, I keep on going back to health because I love health, right? I watch, like, if you ever watch those shows where the woman doesn't feel attractive because, oh, he doesn't touch me anymore, or even vice versa, she doesn't want to have sex with me, whatever, whatever. Um, it becomes one of those things where it's just like, what are you doing to stimulate her or him? You know what I mean? The
Mhm.
physical attraction, despite what people may want to think, this is where Kevin Samuels kind of comes out a little bit. It's important.
He's
It's
back. He's back.
it's relative, right? It's relative. So for myself, for my girl, whatever the case may be, where it's like, oh, because I had, XYZ, if this happened to me, if there's tragedy and stuff like that occurred, that's different. But we should be able to maintain for our own health reasons, because health is wealth. You feel so much better when you look good. You feel good. Um, you think about like having children. Again, I have a son. Being able to run up and down with my kid, being able to run up and down with even my family's kids, my friends' kids. And being able to be like, yeah, I'm healthy. To be able to put on clothes and feel attractive, where it's like, yo, that's my
Mhm.
man. And you look at your woman, like, girl, girl,
Yeah.
we gonna be late. You know what I mean? um,
Yeah.
and they love that because it's honest, and they love that because they feel it themselves. And I'm not saying, this is not to say like, oh, she put on a few pounds, you should be like, ah, babe. No, I'm not saying that either. You know what I'm saying? Um,
Mhm.
but I'm just saying, like, you just have to kind of be able to talk to your partner about these things, and vice versa. Even for men, it's like, babe, you put on a few pounds, and if it doesn't bother them, it doesn't bother them. But when we talk about certain things where, for men, sex is important, we're like, yeah, I want to be able to do that, but like, what are you doing to stimulate your wife? And vice versa, what is she doing to stimulate you, kind of thing.
Yes, definitely good pointers that we all,
Thank you,
we
thank you.
know,
We know,
but
yeah.
right? Like we know these things, but
We
sometimes we
know,
need that reminder,
yes. Hmm.
Right. So let me get back to my list here. Okay, so when did you put the book out?
I launched the book last year during quarantine. Actually, our anniversary is coming up. It was in May.
Oh, wow.
May of 2020. Yeah, during a pandemic. So the original launch was supposed to be in March, just before the pandemic. Literally, I think it was the week before the pandemic hit and everything shut down. So it was going to be I had done the flyers, posting, get the invites and everything, got the location, and was organizing everything. And then boom, everything shut down. A buddy of mine that I was getting the venue, getting the facility from, was like, yo, bro, we're shutting down, we're whatever. So um, I waited. I was like, oh man, this is so disappointing. Much like everybody during March, we're all like, okay, we'll open up in a couple of weeks or whatever. That didn't
Yeah.
happen. So I was like, oh, what am I gonna do? So my cousin was the one kind of like, yo, just launch it online. His exact words were, everybody's home. Nobody's doing nothing, right? And I was like, whoa, that's a good point.
Mhm.
So I was like, I was nervous because I was like, how well is this going to do? That fear for all of my entrepreneurs out there, I know that fear comes, you don't know how many people are going to like it, et cetera, et cetera. But you got to do it anyway. You got to start from somewhere. So within 48 hours, we sold out. I was like,
Wow.
whoa, that's crazy. I was like, whoa, I got orders coming in, phone calls, this, and congratulations. It was a great feeling. Told my son, I was like, buddy, we sold out within 48 hours. He's like, really? Oh my God. If you see his face, he looks a lot like me, but his eyes are bigger than mine. So he's like, oh my God, really? Uh, so it was exciting. It was fun. It was, during that time, it was a financial blessing too, because it was like, okay, pandemic, I'm not working anymore. It's like, oh, the money coming in was really being allocated towards bills and stuff. I was like, I needed this, right? So it was a blessing. And our anniversary is actually next month. So super excited. And what's up, Pepper? Um, and for all my entrepreneurs out there, just start. Just start. I know it might be hard. A lot of businesses, which I'm very proud of, during the quarantine, a lot of Black businesses started during last year. People Instagram, I'm starting this and doing my own cooking thing, my own vlog, whatever the case may be, my own line of clothing. I was like, whoa, that's amazing to see that. But then this year comes, a lot of people aren't doing the same thing because they're not getting the numbers, you know what I mean? And they're getting this, like, um, their their whole hopes get deflated, and their egos get a little crazy. But you have to keep on going, right? To all my entrepreneurs out there. And so, yeah.
Yeah. But you guys only don't only have books, you have like accessories, a couple accessories as well.
Yes. So what I did, so I was running with the momentum. Okay. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna come out with an apparel line of inspirational apparel because the entire brand of Ryan Lyon, um, hey, what's up? What's up, Melissa? What up, Lisa? I was running with the momentum. I was like, hey, it's going to be inspiration because the entire brand of Ryan Lyon, I want it to be something where kids can be proud of, that inspires them and helps them with their identity and discovering who they are and establishing that moral, ethical, high ground foundation for them. So it's an inspirational line. Launched that, and again, it's from all my entrepreneurs out there. That didn't go as planned, right? So I had to learn from that mistake and I had to take a step back. I was like, okay, you know what? We're gonna do it again, but we're gonna do it better, right? So it's like, hey, focus on the book, focus on what you need to do in that regard, etc. But we did in fall, winter time, we did launch a couple of hats. I don't have the hat on. My son actually took the one I have. But we did come out with some tubes and some dad hats like this. And it was great. Like it was good. And, you know, you live and you learn, right? So there's a lot more coming of Ryan Lyon. There's so much great things that are coming. We are coming over the book too this year. So it's like stuff like that. We do have more apparel and stuff coming on. There's so much stuff. I wanted to say it all, but I'm not gonna say it yet. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But there's so much things coming. But you just have to keep on going, right? You have to really. We talked about faith. You got to have faith in God and in yourself ultimately, and above all else. Have like not above all else, but have faith in God and yourself. Where this is gonna work. It doesn't. It's not a matter of if it's going to work, it's when it's going to work. So it's like it's going to work, right? So I posted something very recently. I was claiming it on my Instagram, where it's like Ryan Lyon is going to be a household name. You know, we have Elmo, Big Bird, all that. Ryan is going to be up there with them, and he's going to be like, yeah, people are going to be like, yeah. You're gonna have kids on there. It's like I believe in myself. I know who I am, and it's gonna be like, yeah, I got that from Ryan Lyon. You know what I mean? Like, and be an example to the parents and guardians as well to kind of be examples for their kids because raising our children is a great lesson for ourselves because we want to our kids to grow up better than us to establish certain things. So the things that we teach them we have to apply ourselves because we all know kids don't necessarily listen to what they say, they watch what we do, right? So if I'm not doing the same thing that I'm saying, guess what? My credibility is gone. My kid's gonna end up doing the same nonsense that I'm doing. So it's best to kind of live that example. So the combination of Ryan Lyon, the character, and his father, the father character, are play both parts for the children and the adults, the guardians reading it.
Hmm. And I didn't really ask you what the book was about. You were kind of giving us a bit of a clue, but talk to us a little bit about what we can expect when we pick the book.
So the book, basically, if I were to retitle it anything, it'd be called like a father's promise.
Okay.
So as a parent, you know, I think as all of us as parents, we all have a kind of a means to kind of identify what kind of parent I'm going to be, right? So this can be I'm going to be a provider. You know, there's a lot of men who are like, we're going to be provider. For women, I'm going to be a nurturer. For myself, in particular, it's I'm going to be there, and not just be there in a physical sense where I'm just here and watching you do whatever. No, I'm going to be active in teaching you stuff, providing for you all those things. When you're scared, I'm going to be there. When you're going through something, I'm going to be there. And being there, and again, we can only stretch out ourselves so far because you have to work, you have things to do, so you can't always necessarily physically be there. But the lessons and the things that I've taught you are still there with you, right? One of the things I try to do for my son is like when he's doubtful of himself is remind him of who he is and what he came from. And I want it to be his voice. When he's falling, he feels like he can't get up. It's my voice he hears where it's like, you can get up. You're fine. You know what I mean? So get up. You can do it. And again, living that my own example, trying to be that example for myself, because that's something I got to remind myself. It was like, oh, it's been rough. I don't know. And it's like, nah, you got talking to God. It's like, no, you got this. You know what I mean? You're fine. It's fine. Dust yourself off and just keep going. You know. So it's the meaning is like the being there for your child. It's showing a child's innocence, imagination, and creativity, and showing the importance of having their father there. You know, and just shedding that light of that bond between them, right? What up, Neil? Um, just to show them that, father, to be the example for fathers out there, say, we're here. We're not perfect. We're learning, right? We're learning, because it's so challenging, right? Because, and one of the things that, again, I've kind of looked back, mothers, they had 9 months already, right? Connecting, like literally they're vibing to your rhythm, their heartbeat, right? So for fathers, we're just like, okay, we're helping with the nesting situation, building cribs, being frustrated trying to build these cribs. You know what I mean? Mothers, you're bonding with them, breastfeeding, all these things. And we're just like, all right, well, I gotta still go to work and whatever. And it's challenging. So, fathers, I feel like we don't get enough. I don't want to, and this is not to get at anybody, but we're hard on ourselves, and society is already hard on us, right? So it's like we're learning the emotional aspect of things, because we're learning how to raise our sons, we're learning how to raise our daughters, because raising a daughter, my boy Neil here will tell you, you know what I mean? Like it's challenging, right? I'm raising a son for myself. It's challenging because it's like I want to be there for him, but sometimes I need him to learn he can get back up. He's gonna be fine. And it's like, Dad, I need your help. And when hearing those words as a father, as a parent in general, it's like, Dad, I need your help. I need you to help me open this. You're so quick. It's like, yeah, okay, yeah. But it's like, no, you can open it. You know what I mean? It's challenging, right? It's so challenging. So it's those things where, the book itself highlights those things, and it's going to grow as this book grows, the brand grows, the characters grow. You're going to see the development of these things.
Mm-hmm. And somebody here is saying you're a dadspiration.
You're a dadspiration too, buddy. Thank you.
But you touched on
I love the play on words. Hashtag
right?
dad jokes.
Yeah, dadspiration.
Yeah.
But you touched on a really important part. So whether or not, as mothers, we're there in a relationship with the father, or we are separated for whatever reason, what is some I guess, words of comfort, or words of keep going, supportive words that we can give to the dads out there as well to help them,
One of the things I can remember, I say there's life and death in the tongue, right? So the things we say. So when we classify my son's mother, you won't hear me calling her a baby mama, because that's associated with drama, baby mama drama. You know what I mean? It's associated with ignorance. It's associated with we're divided, right? Don't get me wrong, we've had our issues. You know what I mean? Trial by fire, right? But at the same time, she doesn't call me, oh, that's my baby dad. That's my son's father. That's AM's dad, or my name. That's Andre. Like, you know what I mean? So it's those things where, on a level beyond myself, you have to make sure the two of you, the co-parenting situation, you're communicating honestly, being transparent to a point, setting boundaries, having rules, right? Because that's important. Because what happens a lot of times, emotion gets involved. As a father, you don't want no man raising your child or being a part, because you're in the life, right? So that's frustrating. As a mother, same thing. You don't want no woman coming into your son's life. That's the only woman. You know what I mean? There's that. So it's in understanding that I think can really assist with fathers, because they're doing their best. They're learning, right? In the system is for the mother. It favors the mom. Child support, all these things, which is okay. Again, no argument. But in these arguments, again, there's these toxic situations where the father can be doing everything, but if she's having a bad day, you know what I mean, or you start dating someone, this can ensue some issues where fathers are uneducated on the law. So what will happen is now they're scared, and I want to take you to court, and these threats, you're never going to see your child again. I've known stories where these people have picked up and taken this child to Bora Bora, you know what I mean, to go start their life without the father notifying them, right? And it's these situations that are so crucial. And the mental health, we talk about mental health, a man's mental health, once a man's able to kind of recognize their own emotional IQ or equivalency, understand that, okay, it's not just a man up situation. It's like, no, this is an issue, and go about it in a way where you're going to deal with someone that may not want to hear you, or maybe educate yourself on your rights is very key. And make sure you have your surrounding of circle, you surround yourself with individuals that understand the situation and are able to not feed you ignorance or like, yo, you should, no ignorance or violence or anything like that, but feed you where it's just like, okay, let's have a healthy environment. You know what I mean? Yeah, you only get to see your child 2 days out of the week. Do what you got to do for now. Learn what you need to learn. Get your documents in order, whatever the case may be, and then maybe we can get that to 4 days every weekend. You know what I mean? And it's like, hey, let's work, because that woman needs healing. That man may need healing. Whatever the case may be. So for dads out there, be easy on yourself. Surround yourself with positive people. It's very important. It's very important your environment is very positive, because it will be detriment to your success in all rounds of life, as well as take it easy on yourself. Like, look in the mirror and know that you're the man. You know what I mean? Like, look at yourself and say, you got this. It's fine. Even if you, again, going back to the book of being there, even if it's a phone call, a FaceTime. We have technology now where it's like FaceTime. At least you'll be able to see your child every day. You know what I mean? You might not be able to be with them physically, but at least 30 minutes, an hour, whatever the case may be. You can even play online games with them if that's the case. You know what I mean? So it's those things where we need to not feel sorry for ourselves, but pick ourselves up, and not to say man up, but deal with our emotions. You know what I mean? And don't let them fester and stuff, and just kind of come to agreement with yourself and the other parents. Understand that, like, listen, me being in their life is crucial, right? Because they need a role model. They need a male role model. Son or daughter, we need a male role model, right? And they need a female role model, right? Because it's all, and if they're real parents, any real parent will be like, okay, yeah, okay, you know what I mean? That's the benefit. I know there's this one girl where the father disappeared, came back, but she still allowed for the daughter to get to know this, and like even now, right? And it's like, wow, you're amazing. That's amazing, because she doesn't really have to, because like, this guy just disappeared, but she's not doing it for her. She can she could feel however she feels, but she knows how important it is for her daughter. So I thought that was amazing.
Yeah, it is definitely truly important. Kids are born with two parents, so
Exactly.
They deserve to have both of those parents in their life. So,
Exactly.
100%.
Exactly.
100%. Chris has a question here. Is the book a part of any book clubs?
No, actually, that's a good one. No, not yet, actually.
Chris, you got a book club? You trying to get your Ryan's Lion to get in there?
Right?
Definitely.
Oh,
Yeah.
we'd love to be part of that. That'd be amazing.
Okay. All right. So do you have like a series for this book, or is it just one book, or what are you doing with that?
Yeah, it's
Like,
going to
are
be
you
a
making
series. It's going to be, we're going to continue on. So the next book that's coming out, so this one's called Ryan Lion Hide and Seek. The next one that's coming out is called Ryan Lion A Lion's Worth. It kind of challenges, it shows Ryan, again, develop the character development. So it shows Ryan, being Ryan, being a king, essentially being a king, being a leader, because we want our kids to have their own opinions and their own minds. However, what exactly are they saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what opinion do they have? Is it something where, are you being negative or are you being positive? So in this, you can see Ryan being positive, being a positive role model, being a positive example to his peers. And he does it in such a profound way. But what's also interesting that he goes back and he not to give away anything, but again, it goes back to what I was saying, where we are the example, right? So he didn't do this because that's how he felt. It's because of what his father exemplified, right? So that's exactly what it is. What happens? A lot of what the kids learn, they can learn a lot from school, but they learn a lot from home, right? So children, we're not born to hate. You ever look at a child and be hateful for no? I've never seen a child just be hateful for no reason. They've had to learn that. But the same thing with love. They learn how to love. They've seen love. You know what I mean? So, and that's exactly what they're going to put out there. So it's that kind of thing to kind of show kids to not to judge one another, to appreciate and value one another, because our individualities are kind of like our superpowers. The things that make us different are kind of like our superpowers. You look at the Avengers. If you break it down to kids' terms, look at the Avengers. They're not all one. Not everybody can be Iron Man or Captain America. Everyone brings something to the table, right? So that's basically what the books kind of derives from or based on. And then there's going to be more, and there's so much other things coming that I'm really excited about. The Wright line is going to be, as I said before, it's going to be a household name where you're going to be able to this, that, and above, but it's all the foundation based on, inspiration and motivation, morality, ethics, all those elements, because the next gen, as the slogan says, I mean, it's a cliche, but we believe the children are our future, and what we feed our children and what they're representing, what they're wearing should be a representation of who they are, and what they're wearing should be something where they could feel respected and feel like, yeah, like I'm wearing Ryan Lang. So you already know what that person's about. You know what I mean? Like this person knows who they are. Like in my head, I could see, like this is how I see it. Like in all honesty, years from now, maybe not even years from now, I could see this small little black girl talking about, I know who I am. Like, you know what I mean? Like I love seeing those type of things. Or like a young boy just being able to please and thank you. Opening doors, you know what I mean? Like, or just being able to stand up against a bully, or not even being a bully, you know what I mean? And just being able to articulate how they feel and how to kind of respond, because a lot of things that we weren't really taught how to do was respond. We're so caught up in our emotions that we don't respond, and we respond by emotion. So that's why we got a lot of anger, right? Or we're upset. We start crying and stuff like that. But if we know how to articulate how we're feeling, we would probably be better off for it, right? So.
Right. Wow, definitely. And one thing you did mention a little bit earlier was, kids do learn by the things that we speak about, but they do also pick up a lot on how we behave. And so you're doing an awesome job out here. You're showing not only men, but females as well, the different things that we need to pour into our children by being an example. So I just want to say, big up yourself on that one. That's huge.
Thank you.
Yeah. And
sorry, go ahead.
No, that's it. Go.
I was going to say, I'm actually doing, it's an affirmation giveaway. So I'll announce that right here. That's going on right now. So it's basically anyone watching, if you want to win a free copy of the Ryan Lion hide and seek book, it's an affirmation giveaway. So record yourself or send me something that you feed into your child, right? So an affirmation that you give to your child on a daily, it should be on a daily basis or how often ever you do it, just to show again what we're doing. It's those elements, those daily elements, right? To establish within the child where it's like you can do anything that you put your mind to. Me and my son have a bunch, right? I could literally say a statement right now and he will finish it because it's something that I've established. His identity, where his name is Anthony Marcel. Don't let people just call you Anthony. Don't let people just call you Marcel besides family. But it's like, we didn't name you this by accident. You know what I mean? It wasn't like a whim. We named you this with a purpose. You have purpose. You're here with a purpose. You know what I mean? So establishing that. And I'm telling you, parents, you get so much from that yourself. You know what I mean? Because as you're teaching your child, you are learning yourself. One of the biggest things, it's like, as I'm telling my son, you got to do this. One of the biggest things I repeatedly had to teach my son was, in order to do what you want, you have to do what you have to first. And it's one of those things where I'm like, I'm hearing myself say it to him, and I'm listening to myself, practice what you preach. You know what I mean? You want to go do this and that. No, you want to go talk to this person. You want to be, no, you have to, in order to do that, you have to do this first, right? So it's those elements where it's so helpful, it's so positive, and it creates a bond between you two. Right? Because the years down the line where they're like, my mom taught me this, my dad taught me that. It's so important, right? So, yeah, so it's affirmation giveaway. Submit it to Ryan Lion Books on Instagram here. Just showcasing some of the things, positive things you say to your child to affirm them and who they are and what they can do and that they're loved and appreciated and valued.
Yes. And practicing what you preach is huge because our kids, like, I know my kids will come back and be like, Mom, but you said do, and I'm just like, you're right, I said that, so this
Yeah,
is what we're going to be doing, they'll call you
exactly.
out on it,
It,
so,
no kids. There
yeah,
are three people in the world that will tell you the truth.
yeah,
Someone that's drunk, someone that's mad at you, and children. They will have.
100%.
No, if you tell your kids right now, I did this the other day with my
Yeah,
son. I said, "Okay, impersonate dad right now." They know. They know you. They know
trust me,
you. He
trust
knows.
me.
He knows my language too. Where he'll be like, he'll ask me for something, and I'll be like, "Okay, maybe," and he'll know if I say maybe in a certain tone. I'm like, okay, if
Yep,
I say it like that, he's like, oh, okay, yeah, you're gonna do it. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, no,
yep,
you said maybe like that.
yep, yep,
You didn't. If you said it like no or maybe, then I know I wasn't thinking about maybe like that. They know. They pay. Your
yep,
children know you. They know
yeah,
you.
yeah,
So, yeah,
yeah.
you have to practice what you preach. On 100%, hundred
Yes,
percent.
yes. Well, wow, I just want to thank you so much for joining this show with me, coming on
Thank
and
you.
talking about Ryan's Lion. I
Thank you.
had a great time. I
I had a
appreciate
great
all the
time too.
gems you're dropping. I mean, we kind of stepped aside from the book, but it was great
It was
still. It
great. I
was
had
it
a
was
lot of fun.
awesome.
Yes,
Yeah, and
I
I just want
appreciate
to
it.
know first off if you have any, like if you go by a certain quote or a motivational saying that you would like to share today with anybody, with everybody.
I think the most powerful thing I could probably say right now, for everybody that's going through, everyone that's starting a new business or whatever the case may be, or going like just legitimately going through it. We're in pandemic, etc. I think one of the most important things. There's a couple of things, but I'm going to go with. Um, in the end, everything's going to be okay, and if it's not okay, then it's not the end. You know what I mean? So it's like it might not be fine now. It might not even be fine tomorrow, but it will be. You just have to keep on pushing, keep on praying, keep on working, and just keep that mindset that you will get through this. This in the Bible says, "This too shall pass." So it will.
True, true. All right. Well, I want to thank you so much again for
thank,
coming on. I
thank you for
appreciate
having
you.
me. Yes.
Yes, no problem. And you guys make sure you head over to his page, record yourself doing an affirmation, right? Something that
Yes,
you
yes, and get a
spoke to
copy
your
of this.
children about.
Yes, I would
Okay.
love to see those.
And then when does the giveaway end? Like when do we have to have this in
The
by?
26th, I believe. I placed it for
26th of
like,
April?
yeah.
Okay. All right, so you guys still have some time, so make sure
Yes,
you head over, check out the page, and then just order the book too, How
yes.
can we get a copy of the book?
So there's different ways. You can go to www.ryanlionbooks.com and order
Hmm.
yourself a physical copy. I also have, if you go to Amazon right now, we do have an ebook copy available on Kindle. That's Amazon. So you just type in the whole Ryan Lion hide and seek, and you'll be able to find this gem right there on Kindle.
Wow, okay, perfect. So
Yes,
Amazon, Kindle, or RyanLionsBooks.com, right?
yes.
Okay, all right, perfect. All
All
right,
right.
you take care.
Thank you,
Have
you
yourself a
too.
great night,
Thank you. You too.
and we'll be in touch for
All right.
sure.
Bye.
Bye. Okay. Oh gosh. Thank you guys so much for joining. Sorry about that. I'm still trying to learn how to figure this Instagram thing out. I'm just not tech savvy. I'm just not with it. But I appreciate you guys sticking around. We had two shows. If you missed the first one, you definitely want to head over to my IGTV and check it out. It was a candid conversation with the two ladies from at Chatbout Toronto. And then, of course, we just ended the evening off so perfectly with Andre from Ryan's Lions Books. Such a phenomenal conversation that we just had about, of course, the book, but relationships between parents, mother and child, how we can, sorry, mother, father, and child, and then how we can work together to help make our children see a brighter future. And at the end of the day, our children are our future, right? This is what it is. We know what it is. We just got to make it better for them. How can we make it better for them? How can we work as a team, despite where we are in the relationship, to better our children's future? And you definitely want to get your hands on this book. You want to head over to the website check it out, order the book on the website, or you can go onto Amazon and order it, and then record yourself, get into that affirmation giveaway and try to win a copy. You can gift that copy, you can do whatever it is, but let's like, what do they say? Normalize let's normalize speaking life into our children, because we know how quick it is. Like, life goes by real fast, right? You grow up really, really quick. So we want to normalize speaking life into our children, speaking positivity into our children, because they are a reflection of us. So when we have our children out there and we're sending them to school, we're sending them to friends' houses, we're out there on the streets with our kids, they represent what's going on in the home. So we want to always have a positive representation of our children, of ourselves out there, right? So big up yourself, Ryan's Lions, and shout out to those wonderful ladies at Chatbout Toronto. And thank you guys. Big shout out to everybody who is always watching. Thank you guys. I appreciate you guys. Every single week you come through and you rock with me on Monday. And of course, next Monday, we're going to have another fabulous show. Some more great Toronto's finest, Toronto's creatives out here. So I just want to encourage you guys, have an amazing week. I know we are in the midst of this crazy lockdown, but at the end of the day, we got to make the best of everything, right? And I knew my knee, like, I got this knee problem and my knee was hurting me the other day. And I'm like, I know every time this knee hurts me, there's going to be a drastic change in the weather. And I was just watching the weather and they said we're supposed to be getting some flurries in a couple of days. And then by the end of the week, it's going to be 16 degrees. I don't know what's going on, but we'll take it, right? We're just going to take it. We're going to roll with it. We're going to deal with it. So guys, enjoy the week, and I will definitely see you on Monday. Okay? Take care.